songs, let me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc, where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
Again, these are the things that you need to do. You need to make the connections are more important, I think, in this industry, whether it's parks or professional sports, than maybe your technical skills that you need in other fields. Like there are so many things like this convention, people make connections and they can then call on that person to be a mentor or just bounce some ideas off of them. Break down that barrier, take the risk. What's the worst thing that happened? The person that says no or ignores your request. Okay, well, you tried. Better than always being left wondering.
All right, we are live again. I've lost count of which episode this is, but I've got a special guest, Angus. And so, Angus, what city and state are you serving?
Yeah, so I'm the director of recreation for the Lombard Park District in Lombard, Illinois.
And how long have you been in Parks and Rec from start to finish?
Well, if we count part-time, I started when I was 12. I turned 46 a few weeks ago. Full-time, I started in 2002, so 24 years now.
Wow.
Full-time as a Parks and Rec employee.
Yeah, so you're pretty much a lifer.
I am a lifer, yeah. And then outside of the Park District, I have two other jobs that are also involved in the profession. So I'm a adjunct instructor for the University of Illinois in the Recreation, Sport, and Tourism Department. So I teach one class a semester in professional experiences. And then I'm the president of a synchronized figure skating club called Teams Elite, and we are the top club in the United States. And last year, we're the first American team to ever win a world championship. So,
oh, fantastic! Okay, well, I can't wait to dive into all that. That's so interesting stuff. All right, Joby, why don't you go ahead and play our? So we made a promotion, or really, it's a thank you to everyone that's helped us on this now 1 year journey. This is like our 13th month. So the Daily Parks and Rec Show just made a year. I can't believe it feels like we've been doing this for 10 years. And we could not have done it without the help of men like Angus and other people that have come on. I've seen a lot of our previous show guests here at this convention. And so here's a big shout out and thank you to everyone that's come on the show and helped us and loved and supported us through this whole process. We'll play this and then we'll come right back and start our conversation with Angus.
It didn't start with a studio or a big budget or a perfect plan. It started with belief that stories matter. Belief that voices deserve to be heard. Belief that community is powerful. What began as a single conversation has grown into something far bigger than us. Today we pause, we reflect, and we say thank you. To our guests, thank you for showing up, for being honest, for trusting us with your stories and letting the world hear them. To our partners and sponsors, thank you for standing with us when the vision was still taking shape. Your belief gave this network its foundation. And to our audience, the ones who listened, who watched, who shared, who believed. You didn't just support DPRS Media Network, you built it. This past year changed everything. We grew our shows, we raised our standards, we reached new communities, and we told stories that needed to be told. From parks and recreation to sports, youth, technology, and culture. We learned something important. Growth isn't about numbers, it's about impact. As we grow, our mission becomes clear. Our mission is to create media that matters, media that educates, media that inspires, media that connects people through honest, human storytelling, to spotlight the people, the programs, and the ideas shaping parks, recreation, sports, and the future of our shared spaces. And our vision is bold. We envision a media network that doesn't just document the world, but helps shape it, where local voices spark global change, where communities see themselves reflected, and where media is a force for good. The future ahead is bigger than any single episode. More voices, more stories, more collaboration. Live events, original films, deeper conversations. and a growing community united by purpose. From episode 1 to episode 400, thank you for believing when it was hard. Thank you for staying when it was uncertain. And thank you for walking this journey with us. This is DPRS Media Network, built by community, driven by purpose, powered by stories. And we're just getting started. It didn't start with a studio. It didn't.
Okay, I think we got to close up. Okay, so let's go into your adjunct professor. I want to kind of go into these one at a time. So when did that start? What kind of inspired you there? And what does your day-to-day look like, or maybe month to month look like?
Yeah, so I was involved with the University of Illinois probably for over 15 years in an advisory board member role. And I would volunteer to assist Don Harden. He was the former volleyball coach at the University of Illinois. He retired and was on faculty in recreation, sport, and tourism. He would bring a group of students up from Champaign to Chicago for 2 days every spring. And Don would rely on us to help facilitate setting up the stops. So they would come Friday, do 4 stops on a Friday, stay overnight, do 3 stops on a Saturday, and then head back to Champaign. And I would help reach out to whether it was park districts, professional sports agencies, special event management companies. And then, I did that in a volunteer role. I would show up the day of the trip and kind of help chaperone. Post-COVID, Don retired, I think for the 3rd time, for a 3rd different role at the University of Illinois. And they said enough is enough. So Carla Santos, the department head, approached me and asked me if I wanted to be the instructor for the class. I said, am I qualified? I thought you had to have like a master's degree or some sort of experience. She said, no, you're plenty qualified to teach the class. So I think I've taught it on my own, like maybe 6 semesters now. I partner with Jason Schroeder. He's the academic advisor for the University of Illinois. And we added a trip. So we go to Chicago every spring, and then we alternate between St. Louis and Indianapolis in the fall. And what I do as the adjunct instructor is I will set up all 6 or 7 stops that we'll have on the trip by reaching out, cold calling people and just saying like, hey, it's cool. We want to go meet with the St. Louis Cardinals. I'll give it a shot. Same thing, the St. Louis Arch. Well, it turned out that it was alumnus of U of I that we didn't know. And she set us up with a perfect backstage tour there. I'll go on campus for the first trip to meet all the students. I'll do a couple on Zoom, and then I'll head down to Champaign. We'll drive the bus to whether it's Indianapolis or St. Louis or Chicago. And then we'll do a wrap up a week later. So it's about 4 or 5 classes a semester that I'm teaching. There's 3 or 4 assignments that the students complete. And it's just a really great opportunity for me to connect and give back to the university. When I started doing it, it was mainly because I didn't have a check that I could write that was going to be worth any dollar amount to offer value. Yeah. And then also, like, I did not take advantage of all the opportunities that these students at the University of Illinois had. The Big Ten is now like Major League Baseball or NFL. Like, those are major franchises on campus that you could get experience working at, or the campus recreation that they have. I mean, that's like working in one of these communities' big rec centers. And I did nothing. I thought like, oh, I'm just going to walk in and get an internship. And yeah, the Cubs are going to hire me. 5 years later, I'll be the GM after doing nothing. So trying to share my story with the students and get them to take risks. And a lot of them have done a lot of cool things. We went to Indianapolis. We toured the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And then like 7 of them worked the Indy 500 weekend.
Wow.
Like, yeah, this had been a great experience. So that is what I do for that adjunct instructor, and I love it. Like it's really great to connect with these students and try to guide them to do more with their degree than I did initially when I was on campus. I've gone on to do great things, but there's so many opportunities at their fingertips, whether it's the Champaign Marathon or the YMCA or the park districts in town. They can get involved in something. Yeah.
I love how you said get them to take risks, because oftentimes you get pigeonholed in school that you're like, well, my degree says this is all I can do with it. So what have you done to kind of expose them, or what kind of tactics have you used to say, hey, you can actually do so much more, and look at Parks and Rec, and there's so many things and skills you'll need in Parks and Rec that aren't going to be in this degree that you're attaining right now?
Yeah, so one of the things that we do is we require the students to introduce the sites that we go to visit it. So when we're going to visit the Pacers, they're going to talk about the history of the Indiana Pacers and the stadium, but they're also going to talk about the staff members that are hosting them. And the challenge to them is do more than just look up their LinkedIn. Give them a call, set up a Zoom, make that real connection. So it was great. We were in St. Louis. I can't remember the name of the venue, but it's their outdoor concert venue that they have in the park there in St. Louis. And the kid had to talk with the girl. And then when he was introducing her, he was talking about how, oh, she was a rugby star at Marquette. And the girl was like, oh, you did a lot of research on me. We didn't talk about that during our conversation, but that really impressed. And I guarantee that stood out for that woman. If that guy ever wanted a job in the future, she's going to know he's going above and beyond. So it's just making that connection. And then post trip, the students also have to send a thank you email to the people that hosted us. So again, it's trying to make that connection so then they can connect on LinkedIn, and then they can use them as a resource as they go forward in their career. And it exposed them to all the different things. Like we had an aerospace engineer in our class this semester because he wants to go into data analytics in the NBA. And so I never thought, I mean, I have no justification to be teaching aerospace engineering to anyone, but for recreation, sport, and tourism, he was new. And again, these are the things that you need to do. You need to make the connections are more important, I think, in this industry, whether it's parks or professional sports, than maybe your technical skills that you need in other fields. Like there's so many things like this convention that people make connections, and they can then call on that person to be a mentor or just bounce some ideas off of them. And that's what we're trying to get the students to, like, break down that barrier, take the risk. What's the worst thing that happened? The person that says no or ignores your request. Okay, well, you tried. It's better than always being left wondering.
And not that college is now irrelevant or anything, but you know, there are so many things that you are going to have to learn on the job. What are some of the skill sets that you had to kind of shore up once you started working in parks and recreation, whether it be soft skills or networking skills or anything like that?
Yeah. For me, being in park and recreation, like recreation, communication is key. And I think nowadays it's knowing what mode of communication to use. You can't just keep going back and forth over text messages because stuff can get lost. Or sometimes like an email is not what's necessary. Sometimes you got to pick up the phone and talk to the person. Other times, if it's, you're going back and forth with a lifeguard, texting is going to be probably the best avenue for you. But being able to identify which skill to have and then communicating in the right way and making sure that you're remaining professional. Because sometimes if you're communicating with a parent, they might draw you into a more casual conversation and then use that against you. Everyone is your friend until they're not. And they then have the receipts to go back and be like, oh, well, these are the emails your staff sent me. These aren't very appropriate. Like they don't have proper grammar. They're promising me things, or it's just so casual that people have fallen into that tendency. So it's just making sure that you know which communication to use and to use it correctly.
Right. Or even on the flip side, if let's say you've got to communicate with 7,000 people, you just can't do that without software. And so you may have to learn the software that the Parks and Rec department has bought and paid for. And now you have to communicate with your 7,000 parents that are enrolling in all of the programs throughout the year. And that's your kind of mass communication side. How do y'all integrate software or AI, or like one of our primary sponsors, Amilia, has a great software for camp registration and stuff?
Yeah, we use a different vendor, but Amilia is great. I'm familiar with them. We use technology for a lot of things. We use another company here, EPAC. They manage all of our medical forms for camp. So who's your emergency pickup, what allergies you have, what medications you're taking. That automatically syncs twice a day with our registration software. So we're not having to chase down those forms, stick them in a binder that's not really secure, right? It's right there at your fingertips that you can get. We use Quick Scores, who's here as well, for all of our scheduling of athletics and posting our standings and schedules. Outdoor Link is one that we just invested in at Lombard Park District. There's an app that we use to control all of our lights, so we can set them on a timer. We can turn them on and off on an app. Whereas in the past, it was like a coach running out there with a key to turn it on, and that key is going to disappear at some point during the season.
Who's y'all's rep at Outdoor Link? Is it Joseph?
Joseph. Yeah, Joe's great. Yeah, so we've worked with him.
He just did a great show with us. They're actually our first ever sponsor for the Daily Parks and Rec Show was Outdoor Link. I'm a huge fan of their company.
They are great, and we'll continue to work with them. And it's just been such a huge upgrade for us, just from, again, an efficiency standpoint. We can schedule the lights; they go on and off when they're supposed to. And if we need to end early, we a touch of the button. And again, we're not worrying about losing keys and lights being stuck on all night.
Yeah. All right. Now, I'd like to give you a chance to give a testimony to just IRPA in general, and then why people should attend this. Now, I know everybody's got a reason, of course, if they're in Illinois, why aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, but what if you're like a neighboring state or from clear across the country? What benefit would it be to attend IRPA?
Yeah, the IPRA conference, IAPD, the Soaring to New Heights conference. I've been here for 24 years. It's one of the biggest conferences in the country. It rivals NRPA, both in the size of the exhibit hall and the quality and quantity of educational sessions. And so there's other states that don't have the luxury of having this opportunity in their backyard. But it's definitely well worth coming. Now, it's always going to be cold. It's January in Chicago, so you got to be ready for that.
Yeah.
But there's such great opportunities to network with the other professionals here. This industry is like no other, and that like we will share whatever you want. So you get here, you start talking to someone, you be like, oh, I need an idea for this, or I need a manual for that. Well, they'll just email it to you when we get home. And then the amount of vendors, there's hundreds of vendors here, and the diversity of them. And again, they're all soft selling you. They're fun vendors. They're not pressing you to buy something and walk out of here with this deal.
Yeah.
It's just a great environment. And then there's a lot of other social aspects to it, some fun time to have away from the office, meet new people that, you might run into down the line at NRPA, or 6 months from now, you're like, hey, I talked to that person. I'm going to send them an email. They said they had a good idea for some sort of program. And it's just such a great environment here.
All right. And those from out of state and are new to Chicago, I'm from New Orleans. We actually had to drive here because our plane got canceled. So I had to literally drive from the airport and rent a car and drive here 18 hours. But my Ukrainian valet told me, he said, there's a secret tunnel from your hotel to this Hyatt thing. And so we didn't even have to get out in the cold weather. We were able to just walk in climate controlled and bring all of our setup here. So don't fear the cold. You can actually attend the whole convention and maybe just be exposed from your Uber to the hotel room, and that might be it. And I'm not sure if you know this, so we founded the Parks and Rec Done Right Facebook group during COVID. And before we started the Daily Parks and Rec Show, I asked, is there any state convention, and we're just going to run a poll that y'all would like me to attend? Guess which state won, hands down?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure Illinois. We have a lot of Parks and Rec professionals in this state. They're very passionate and prideful, and we think we do Park and Rec the best in the whole country here in Illinois.
Yeah, I think they had double the votes of second place. So this is us fulfilling that promise to make it to the IRPA convention, and so glad to be here.
I mean, also the state of Illinois and Chicago has a reputation for stuffing the ballot boxes, maybe legally, maybe not. So that might have played a little bit into it as well.
Yes, and I've actually had a lot of great guests throughout the year where we do 1 hour exclusive interviews, which I would love to have you on because we have not had a chance to talk about your personal career into it. So if you don't mind, I'll have Eunice reach out to you, and just anytime throughout the rest of the year, I'd love to have you on and do a more in-depth interview about you and your career into this.
Yeah, I'm a Park and Rec lifer. Started as a part-time soccer ref when I was 12, worked my way up through the concession stand, the maintenance side, done it all. So I don't want to spoil anything, but I'd be happy to jump back on. And like I said, I do 3 different jobs that are all in this industry and love all of them.
I remember when I was young, the Park and Rec director, he's passed away now, Mr. Raggy Alexander. I was so excited because I got 2 Snicker bars to work the concession stand. And I was like, oh yeah, I can't believe I'm getting paid anything for this. But I was like, could barely reach the counter making hot dogs and stuff in the back. So it was fantastic.
So what we'll do, Craig, a thing on my bucket list is to go to a night game at Tiger Stadium. So we'll do it from the tailgate, maybe outside.
Have you ever been? So you've never been to LSU tailgate?
No, I've been to Baton Rouge once on a field trip at Athletic Business. We went to the water park from New Orleans. They took us on a bus out there. But no, I've not been to an LSU tailgate. I can't wait.
I promise you, you have not tailgated. You've gone to LSU. It is the entire city. The stadium only fits about 100,000.
Oh yeah, that's it.
250,000 people tailgate.
Yeah,
the whole city shuts down. It's the only thing in town that you can do is LSU.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Can't wait.
So you're gonna love it, and hit me up when you come there, and I'll come over and find you and introduce you to a lot of other tailgaters there.
I can't wait. I will take you up on that offer.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, and have a great rest of your convention. Joey, you can go ahead and run that spot.
In today's parks and recreation industry, communication, safety, and efficiency go hand in hand. That's where Outdoor Link comes in, delivering smart technology that empowers city departments and community planners to do more, smarter. Outdoor Link's platform connects and automates everything that keeps your parks running smoothly, from lighting and locks to signage, water features, Wi-Fi, and digital advertising. Control and schedule park lights for safety and energy savings. Remotely manage facility access. Update digital displays in real time. Coordinate fountains and splash pads. Provide public connectivity. And even run community or sponsorship campaigns on digital screens. All from one simple, unified platform, giving you real-time control, data, and cost efficiency. For parks and recreation agencies, that means safer spaces, smarter resource use, faster responses, and stronger community engagement. And behind every great park story is great infrastructure. That's why Outdoor Link proudly supports DPRS Media Company, helping the daily Parks and Rec show amplify the voices of professionals shaping our communities every day. Outdoor Link, smart, connected solutions for parks, recreation, and beyond.